Hey everyone, it's Megamon here, and welcome back to Hyrule Warriors. This is part 4. It's 4. Last time I said 5. That's a problem. I should probably learn how to count just a little bit better than how I do. This is the Valley of Seers. Seers. It's a C next to an R, but not the letter C, but the word C. Yeah, I don't like that word. I don't know why, but I do not like that word. Okay, so in this part we get to play as Lana, which I'm not going to explain the same way I did Sheik, because the only reason why I explained Sheik is because Sheik is kind of confusing. Lana as a character is not that confusing, pretty straightforward overall. Lana, although one of my, last time I kind of just said my favorite character, didn't really expand on that. One of my more favorite characters in design. I'm actually not particularly fond of her playstyle. I don't know why. I feel like I should be, but I'm not. But you'll see some of that. I don't play as Lana that much, and especially with her alternate weapons, I definitely do not play with those as much as I probably should. Hopefully the audio sounds a little bit better. I have a habit of having everything go a little bit under what they're supposed to be. In fact, I got to... I'm still trying to gauge like exactly where I should be around the microphone, because I do have the settings a little bit higher than I normally would. Also, because my room, although treated, is not 100% soundproof. Anyways, welcome to the Valley of Seers. Welcome to the Valley of Seers. And this place is actually my least favorite stage. There's not many places where I'd say that I have a least favorite stage in this game. Like, this is the only one that well, one of two, I think. But out of the two of them, I don't like this one. Because it's dense, but it also has a lot of space in between. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but I don't like this map that much. Probably because a lot of the missions that take place here are incredibly difficult. My first time playing this level, I had a hell of a hard time with it. And that could possibly be because of Lana's playstyle, which as you can see, I do not have a full grasp on her combos and everything of this like that. But I'm actually going to turn the microphone just a wee bit down so I can get a little bit closer. The power of proximity effect, my friends. But I'm not actually particularly fond of her style, mainly because a lot of her moves are very linear based. Like, it shoots in... It's not great for overall crowd control. I think the one that has the... I think Zelda with the baton has the best crowd control, if you want preference. But it's because most of her moves, like that hallway shot, I believe that's her special attack, it's just a straight shot, and I do not like that in a weapon. I don't know. I mean, I understand why. It doesn't have the best radius. I don't know how to describe it. I just do not like playing as Lana nearly as much as I... maybe I used to like to play as her, but I felt... I don't know. She's not that my favorite. One of my favorites. We'll see this later, but one of my favorites is one of the villains, and you will know who that is. Oh man, you know what really sucks about this game is that that sucks about this game, but what kind of sucks is that I actually now started playing the villains, the villain side of things, and they don't go through every single stage, which I found very interesting. This is not one of the stages that has, like in the DLC, the villains aren't actually doing anything, which I found very interesting. For one reason is because this is one of the few stages, well, not one of the few, but it has a cutscene within the stage before it's done with. So you'd expect the villains to have a run with the villains. I don't know. It's weird. Going through the villain playthrough currently, I'm not particularly fond of that either. Oh, by the way, this stage is actually one of the more easier ones. The only gimmick in this one is capturing the vital keeps, and soon you'll see these walls that can be easily taken down with our boomerang, which I have no idea where that's... I believe that was collected lower on the map originally. I do not actually know where, and I'm not going to make an edit because it'll make it pretty damn clear where the boomerang is if you're playing for the first time. So Yeah, so there's not a lot, and I think that's also another reason. There's not a lot to this stage. And I know this stage also has a very difficult level later on, and I don't like that either. Yeah, just don't like this stage. Ha! Sorry, I am actually a tad sick today, as it were. This is being recorded the day it's going to be uploaded, and I am a tad sick, but I had to get a recording done at one point, and so my throat is not exactly where it should be. So I guess we're gonna kind of be here for a while. One tip that I'm gonna make: always take care of Volga as fast as possible. That might not be entirely possible your first time through due to the levels, the current level that you'd be at, but Volga is a significant threat. I remember that becoming a consistent problem in my past playthroughs. So always take down Volga first. Trust me, the world around you is not gonna, your bases won't be captured that easily. And I'm not exactly sure why. I remember that maybe it's because, again, I'm way overpowered for this entire playthrough at this point. So, you know. Oh, I was speaking there. Sorry about that. Hopefully that did not kill your ears. But yeah. So Volga is not going to be. So Volga should be a top priority. Luckily, I am absolutely destroying him, which would not be possible during the first time playthrough, just because he has a very high defense and he's at a higher level. I believe I mentioned this before, but I actually really like playing as Volga. He is my go-to villain character I play as, unless you count like Midna as a villain, although that's very temporary. But yeah, out of all the villain characters, I enjoy playing Volga the most. I don't know why I did that. But my absolute favorite character to play as we are just sort of, sitting here, is probably Majora Mask Link. I love playing as Majora's Mask Link. I think he has, well, first of all, one, he has the illusion of being super fast, but two, I also like him, I don't know why, I like how much power he has, even when he's not transformed. But also, speaking of DLC characters, man, I can't wait for that, for Hyrule Warriors Legends to come out here. Even if I'm not going to be playing it portably that much, it is kind of interesting to see what is in store. And I think the best feature about it is probably being able to switch characters on the fly, because I always found it kind of weird that you had them on the bottom screen on the Wii U, which they are there. I might have not mentioned this before, but your objectives and characters are on the Wii U gamepad. I'm not going to be showing that, which I have no idea. I actually have no idea how I would record the Wii U gamepad. I think it's kind of crazy that, if any of you guys watch Chugga Conroy, I think it's kind of crazy that he has a capture card for the Wii U. I think that's insane. I don't know where to get that. It probably isn't that. I mean, the modding process isn't probably that much different than the 3DS, I guess. Which I am planning to get one of those. I really want a 3DS recorder because there's so many DS games I want to do. So many. Oh, hey, there's dialogue happening that I was not aware of. Yeah, this stage is again, standard. Not much to say about that. Actually, I was going to do some test recordings with this game, and I thought it would work. Recently, I obtained an Atomos Ninja 2, which I might be making another video on. I might make, just a random video on that and how that works with my camera and everything, and just the workflow with it, because I really wanted to see what it'd be like to record this gameplay footage in ProRes, which I've seen gameplay footage of it on the PS4. I've not tested it out with my PS3, but for some reason it cannot, it does not detect my Wii U as a legitimate HDMI input, even through the Elgato Game Capture outputting into the Atomos Ninja when I was trying to do comparisons for video quality purposes. Which, actually, I remember trying to use my Elgato Game Capture as an external recorder for my DSLR, and it did not work too well. It was slightly greener footage, if I recall. Maybe just that saturation settings that I should put a little bit lower. I'm also thinking of upgrading my capture software to do HD 1080p 60 frames per second, which I'm not actually too fond of, the 60 frame per second videos, only because on my laptop it's kind of bad. If I watch anything in 1080 60, or literally anything that goes into 1080 60 on my computer, it just does not work. I mean, it does work, but it like heats up my computer, and I don't know why it does. Granted, it's a Mac. I'm really looking into upgrading my computer so I can do more editing and faster editing. In fact, it's a godsend being able to, currently I'm using an SSD, which I had to buy for the Atomos Ninja, and so I'm offloading it from my hard drive onto my SSD so I can play the footage a lot more cleanly, which actually, I'm going to bump the quality up to full, because I can do that because I rendered the files. I did a little bit of benchmarking on my part where I had, I did some benchmarking, and there was about a good 15-minute difference between my external hard drive and this external SSD. Except the difference is that the external hard drive was probably made specifically to be external. This one is just an SSD and an enclosure. So, yeah. Much ado. I'm not really paying attention to the game at this point. I'm just trying to talk into the microphone as much as possible, because I feel like I don't take advantage of this microphone's superb quality. For those that are unaware, I use the AT4040 for all general uses. I use it for whenever I've done, which I don't know when I'll ever get around to actually posting it, but I've done VO demos. I've used it for commentary, obviously, as I'm doing now. I've used it on stage before. I've used it for news packages and stuff like that, various things. And I never feel like I'm actually fully taking advantage of it because I never get close enough to it because I'm not speaking directly into the microphone. I'm always speaking a little bit farther away from it, or off to the side, or whatever. And also, I don't really have the best pop filter either. I feel like the problem is with microphones, I've noticed, is that getting closer to it, and then you can get the plosives, which you can totally avoid if you just, talk to the side. And in fact, one of my update videos, the microphone was basically just pointing to the side, and I was fine, because, yeah. But yeah. So now we're moving on, advancing into the central room, which I think it's going to appear here. Those weird wall things, I've probably already broken one down by now, after ranting. Oh, these things! Why did I ignore those things? Okay, so the statues that shoot those lasers, take care of those as fast as fucking possible, because they are as annoying as hell. You will not see this as much in the adventure mode, although they are easily the most annoying enemies, quote unquote, in the entire game. I hate them. They're annoying. I really don't like them. I think they're BMOS. I believe they're BMOS. BMOS. And I absolutely hate them so much. I hate them so much. You'll see it mainly in adventure mode because there's some missions where you can't get hit, and they'll be there in the background, and you have to take care of them. Or, they're just kind of a tedious thing that can be taken. The bio issue is that they can be taken care of so easily, but they're also so distracting. I don't know. I just don't like them as an enemy. There's probably something an equivalent in Dynasty Warrior somewhere, which I get onto that, the actual Dynasty Warrior series instead of just Hyrule Warriors. I was talking about getting the Dragon Quest Warriors spin-off, but I decided not to. I'm probably not going to get that game, mainly because I do not have a PS4 yet, because I've been spending it on camera equipment and various other things, like a jacket, like a suit thing. From my profile picture, you might not know this, but I dress very nicely, so I tend to spend my money on clothing like that. So yeah, I've been spending money here and there for that stuff like that. I haven't had time to really invest in my gaming as much as I'd like to. Although, Oh, you see, I'm still sick. Actually, so I still haven't finished actually every single PS3 game besides the Kingdom Hearts series. I have not finished a single. Well, okay, I finished LA Noire. I've not finished Tales of Xillia. I've not finished Tales of Xillia 2. I really want to. Yeah, but I haven't finished Tales of Xillia, which is what I was working on, and then, well, okay, never mind. I have actually, and sorry if the audio is going a little bit weird because I am looking off to the side, but, Tales of Xillia needs to be completed, Tales of Xillia 2 needs to be completed, Digimon All-Stars Battles, which is terrible, do not buy it. I have not beaten Borderlands 2 because I actually don't like Borderlands 2 as much. Maybe I should play it with friends and on a PC where it's probably much better. And actually, no, never mind. That was a 100% mute point. But hey, Manhandler, the Manhandler. Although I am not a man, apparently. Lana is not a man. I am a man. I identify as a man. I'm not ready to tell you guys I am a woman. So, the Manhandler. This is, again, another annoying boss. I do not like this boss either. I mean, I don't mind it. I shouldn't say I dislike it, but I don't mind it, but it's just, again, another annoying boss. The Dodongo was easy-ish. Goma was easy-ish. I didn't mind doing the patterns and waiting, but this one is waiting and waiting, sometimes for a very long time, and it creates Manhandler stocks. This is an indicator that I am talking too fast. But basically, the Manhandler stocks will attack your base, and this will be more apparent in the adventure mode, but it'll basically create sprouts up into the air in different bases, and you have to cut them down with your boomerang, which I have no idea how that works. And it shoots little beams into your allied base, and they also are just really annoying in general. I believe we'll see it in a Skyloft level, or maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I believe in some sort of Skyloft level. They are there, and they're annoying. But yeah, luckily, again, I am overpowered, so this is mostly a cakewalk. I haven't actually found the sweet spot to destroy the gauge with Lana yet, because there's always, like, Sheik, the fireball is probably one of the best moves to use to get down that gauge. Oh, by the way, this boss has to go down to half health. I didn't realize this until now, but you cannot beat it before it goes into the Manhandler stocks mode. But for, like, and Darunia has his own little special move for that too. Normally it's BBY. Normally it's 2 charge attacks and you're good. But for Lana, I haven't figured it out yet. I probably should do that. I think the cube attack would do you well. That might do you well. I'm actually now just trying to cool off because I realize that I might be actually hurting my throat. I do not want to lose my voice. It's one of the few things that I am proud of, despite it being higher pitched. It is actually something always weird to look back on, or even just when you think about it, because as humans, we hear ourselves that having lower voices than is actually outputted. So I remember during freshman year, I intentionally tried to lower my voice, and it worked for a little while. My voice became, I just naturally spoke a little bit lower. The problem is that it also sounded incredibly fake, until my friends just sort of got used to me going into the lower register, and I wanted my voice to be lower because I actually, before I started doing before I decided to do voice acting as a main thing, which will be more apparent as my career here on YouTube goes on, I guess. I don't know. But I do want to pursue voice acting. So I was never fully confident in my voice to do that until like mid-freshman year when I decided to actually drop the lower voice. And like trying to laugh lower. And a very booming sound. It wasn't, my natural voice, which you guys aren't necessarily hearing now anyways, because I am in front of a microphone, and for some reason, psychologically, I just change my voice, and part of my personality, I guess. because I am talking to myself. This is... I never realized... You don't actually realize how sad an activity commentating is sometimes, and this is... Oh, by the way, Manhandler, you're already seeing the strategy. Just hit it with the boomerang. This is why it's annoying. I don't like its moveset. I don't know. I don't like this boss. I don't like the boss. But yeah, you know, I lost my train of thought. Thank you, me. I lost my train of thought. Thank you, Manhandler. You made me lose my train of thought. But it will be done soon. And one kick to the jewels, I guess, and it's done. Stage done. Whew. Man. You'll notice that these parts are 20 to 25 minutes long. I think this one is around 24 minutes long. Just looking at the timeline. And I'm not particularly fond of it. I mean, I'm getting stuff mixed up in my head. But that wasn't actually intentional. I originally wanted these parts to be going by pretty quick so I could just go through the story mode and just complete the game like that. But these, most of stages are going to take around 20 or so minutes, which I found interesting. Except for that last one, which only apparently took 11, but then it was filled with a bunch of cutscenes. So huzzah. By the way, I believe Impa still does not figure out, that Sheik is Zelda after holding the Triforce of Wisdom, which is an inherited gift from the royalty in this universe. So, how? Sheik, you're dumb. Not Sheik, Impa, you're dumb. The entire we'll talk about that next stage, but I don't know. That's dumb. And hey, another pretty CG cutscene. I really do like how these are in. I really like how it looks. It looks great. It's also interesting because the character models don't look that different. It's just, you know, smoother animation and better backgrounds and everything. But the actual character models, they look relatively the same. So, hey, kudos if you're using them. Although, of course, I guess less clipping. Yeah, but there's you know, it's interesting to see a fully pre-rendered cutscene versus the actual game. And they did actually a pretty good job of balancing it, so it just looks slightly better, but it doesn't look intensely better like in the Square Enix games, where from cutscene to gameplay it does not look nearly the same. Because of just how much detail is in it. But this is just looks like an obvious extension. Like if it had a CG show, this is what it looked like. Or if it was on the PS4. Whatever. Either or. A high-end PC. I would love... If Nintendo ever... Dynasty Warriors or any... yeah, I guess Dynasty Warrior type games on the PC looks like it'd be a absolute wonder because, it's, you know, you could have so many enemies on screen. I believe I've talked about that before. Oh, hey, we get one of the major plot points of this game. Hey, we're connecting worlds from various times and spaces. For some reason, I'm actually not exactly sure why they did this. There doesn't seem to bear that much reason for the time, like, going to different timelines in the Zelda universe. Because, you know, you could have just made this world's Darunia or this world's Zora, Ruto. You know, I'm not even sure if is the Twilight world, does that not exist? It's in the future, isn't it? I don't know. I'm going to assume all these take place in the past. Someone please correct me because I am very confused of why that is. And hey, we have a shitty cutscene after, like, these weird PowerPoint presentation right after a really impressive cutscene. I don't get why they do this either. I'm very gripey today. It's probably because I have a headache. But I had to get this done. I need to get something uploaded. That is something I really promised myself, is to upload more shit because I have free time for that stuff. Also to get more practice just doing commentary and stuff like that, so I get increasingly better. Because, you know, it's always good to practice, and I fell out of practice for a while. I remember in a couple of my post commentaries, like during Trauma Team, that I am probably going to return to that at one point, but you know, during Trauma Team, I didn't actually feel like I was at the like the peak of my commentary skills. Now I'm actually doing pretty okay because I'm just rambling on and occasionally pointing out something interesting. Hopefully you guys aren't too annoyed with my voice. Oh, hey, and I was right, around 25 minutes. Great. Although, as it seems, it looks like it's going to end pretty soon. So, something interesting about this, you might have already seen this already on the screen because obviously the paths aren't unlocking as we're going. But, right after I get out of these menus, you'll see also Tingle and Majora's Mask Link, Young Link. So, right after we get past all this loading and shit, here we are. We have several different pathways, and I'm just going to be going these top to bottom. I will not, so, like, right after I do Death Mountain, I'll be doing, like, Hylia and just completing all those stories like I did the first time I played through. So, yeah, next time, I'll be seeing you guys at Death Mountain. So, anyways, guys, I'll be seeing you guys later.